Hello, dear viewers. It is our pleasure to welcome you to this latest edition of the News in English on Rwanda Television with me, Serge Nhore. As always, we'll begin with the headlines. The government of Rwanda has confirmed the postponement of the Rwanda summit. 957 public servants have graduated from Rwanda's inaugural national induction program. And on the international scene, Americans say they expect improving the U.S. economy to be the one priority of Donald Trump's return to the White House. Now the details. I'm glad you're able to join us. 957 public servants working in various institutions, including government ministries and their affiliate organizations, have graduated from the national induction program that was held at the Rwanda Military Academy in Gako. We have the details with William Evans Mutabazi.
The graduation ceremony for the 957 public servants in the national induction program held today was a celebration for having completed a training aimed at enabling them to become catalysts for change, with the goal of placing citizens at the forefront. This program is exceptional and it's focused on building the capacity of all public servants to be able to achieve our targets in both NST2 and Vision 2050. The program is focusing on boosting teamwork, interlinking services, and close cooperation and collaboration among all public servants and the sector as a whole, because we serve one purpose and one public.
We have
been taught on how to transform our country based on our history, on how to be protectors, and why we must have values and principles that are best suited for exemplary public service. Professor Fisa called on all public servants and Rwandans to raise and fulfill the dreams of those who perished, fighting for Rwanda to turn their hope into lasting change.
May this generation, you all sitting in this audience and your cohorts, rise as the one to fulfill the dreams of those who perished fighting for this nation, honoring their sacrifices by turning their aspiration into reality, their struggles into triumph, and their hope into lasting change. Let us build a legacy worthy of their courage and sacrifice and the unwavering faith they placed in us. Together, we can honor their vision by creating a future of strength, unity, and enduring purpose. Our shared future depends on each of us taking responsibility for the national strategy for transformation, NST2, that you all mentioned, Vision 2035 and Vision 2050, and not just having them in paper, but implementing them. And as you learned in this training, that will require more than just following what's written in your job description. It requires breaking out silos, seeing connections between your work and other institutions and ministries. And I love the example in one of the videos. I don't belong to this institution. I belong to the nation.
The Ministry of Public Service and Labor stated that this program will continue and reach other employees in various government sectors. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William. Now, as we noted in the headlines, the government of Rwanda has confirmed the postponement of the Rwanda summit due to unresolved issues, including a lack of consensus on the DRC M23 talks. From our second studio, we're having our colleague Adams Kwizera, who's with Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, to explain more about the postponement of the summit.
It's a pleasure that in our tonight's news edition, we are having Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Rwanda. You are very welcome, Ambassador. For me, I'm Adams Kwizera. The Rwanda summit, which was to discuss on the security issues in the Eastern DRC, today was postponed. And as you mentioned it in the statement, that there were disagreements in the ministerial meeting you had yesterday. We want to know, what are the issues that were not agreed upon leading to this postponement of the Rwanda summit?
Thank you very much. Indeed, the summit under the Rwanda process was scheduled today in Rwanda, Angola, after 7 rounds of ministerial meetings. There was only one item on the agenda, which was to sign the agreement between the Republic of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo in order to solve the security situation in Eastern DRC and to normalize our relations. Before the summit, we had received communication from the facilitator, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of DRC, which confirmed the date of 15th of December and also informed that the DRC government has eventually agreed for a dialogue with the M23 within the framework of the Nairobi process. And then afterwards, we received the final draft agreement that was prepared by Angola as the facilitator, which included also the word dialogue between the M23 and the government of DRC. But then when we met yesterday as Minister of Foreign Affairs to review this draft agreement that will be signed by heads of state, we were surprised to hear that the Minister of DRC was rejecting that very word for several hours. Actually, we didn't have many issues of disagreement. We have mainly that one, which was the fact that to solve the conflict in Eastern DRC and also to normalize the relations between Rwanda and Congo, the government needs to engage into direct talks with that movement, addressing the root causes of the conflict in order to have a final, to achieve a final solution to the crisis. Because we need to understand why the relations between the 3 countries have deteriorated. There are 3 security issues. First, there was the issue of the FDLR, and then the defensive measures of Rwanda, and then the issue of the M23. The 2 first issues were addressed by the concept of operations that had agreed on by the minister. Actually, we didn't even discuss that in the meeting. The only issue that was remaining, that of the M23, which took our whole time yesterday with the problem of DRC of not agreeing with a dialogue between them and the M23 movement.
Then could this postponement of this summit be related to the political will that Rwanda continuously claimed that the DRC government is lacking?
This is the issue, actually, because before the meeting of yesterday, we were making good progress in the ministerial rounds of talks, but on the ground, the situation was something else. Actually, in the meeting, before even engaging into negotiations on the texts, on the provisions, on articles, I first recalled what happened on the ground between the 6th ministerial meeting of 25th of November and the 7th, which showed that there is increased militarization at our border. The new soldiers were deployed, weapons, the continued collaboration with the FDLR, with high-level officials of the army, of Congolese army with the FDLR, and also the continued collaboration with a wide coalition, including the FDLR, of course, the Wazalendo militia, the European mercenaries, and the Burundian forces, with a genocide ideology that was spread by the FDLR within that coalition, and also with this obsession by the president of the DRC for regime change, as he repeated it on 17th of November in Katanga, where he told military and civilian leaders of that province that if he is given the opportunity to revise the constitution, he will overthrow the government in Rwanda. And we take it very seriously, because it's not the first time that he says that, because it has been 2 years that he was saying that. This is why we have defensive measures that are effective to protect our country and our people.
Well, in the statement, you say that this postponement of the Heads of State Summit gives a room for dialogue between the DRC and the M23. What role do you expect this to play in finding a lasting solution on this issue in the Eastern DRC?
Thank you. In the meeting we had, as we were stuck without any way out between the two ministers, there was a proposal that was made by Angola to have the facilitator of the Rwanda process, which is the President Lorenzo of Angola, and the facilitator of the Nairobi process, who is the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, to continue or to engage into consultations with the M23 and the DRC government to come up with a proposal. So what we wish and we support is that those consultations go on so that those facilitators come up with a language that could lead to direct talks between the government of DRC and the M23, and then we will be invited to a summit with a new language so that we can sign this agreement that will have been signed today. So it is important that these talks continue between the facilitators, the M23 and the government, and then Rwanda is ready to come back to Luanda to sign an agreement with a language leading to talks between the two parties.
Yesterday, you had the 7th ministerial meeting, and this came after other several meetings that have been taking place. What do you think is the lasting solution to this issue, as you said before, but through such meetings that are taking place? Do you think those meetings, since are not yielding results, do you think there is another way, which is not such meetings?
I understand the frustration of people who may think that the Rwanda process is not making progress. I fully understand that. But Rwanda wants peace. We believe in peace, and we believe in the economic dividends of peace. This is why we continue attending those meetings under the Rwanda process, despite the hate speech, despite the belligerent rhetoric, despite the continued militarization of the Democratic Republic of Congo, which shows the lack of goodwill. But at the same time, of course, we are not naive. This is why we have our defensive measures which are effective to protect our population, because we witness on the ground the obsession by the DRC government with its whole coalition to overthrow our government, which of course we'll never accept.
Well, thank you, Minister, for having this time with us, and we learned more about this postponement of the Rwanda summit that was supposed to take place today. Thank you so much for having this time with us.
Thank you very much.
Yes, let me give the floor back to Serge and proceed with the news.
Adams Kwizera speaking to Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Now on to other matters. The American comedian Steve Harvey believes that empowering and mentoring young people is essential for development of both nations and the African continent as a whole. He shared the view during an exclusive interview with RBA on Sunday. The television host, comedian, actor, author, and an entrepreneur is well known for shows such as the Steve Harvey Morning Show, Family Feud, Celebrity Family Feud, and as the host of the Miss Universe pageant since 2015. Steve Harvey has been in Rwanda for a few days and participated in the FIA Awards on Friday. In November, he also visited the country, taking the time to tour the Kigali Genocide Memorial and pay tribute to the more than 250,000 victims of the genocide against the Tutsi buried there. In his exclusive interview with RBA's Adams Kwizera, Steve Harvey described Rwanda as a model of unity and resilience.
And for you all to have overcome this, that's a testament to the people you are, and a real testament to the leadership that you have. But really just you all as a people, man, you're very special people. I think people need to come here and find out what kindness, forgiveness, and love it really looks like. And I think that's a story that needs to be told.
As an entrepreneur, Harvey has revealed that he and his team have plans to bring business ventures here to Rwanda.
We got more to do, especially here in Rwanda. This is a special place, man. And so, we're gonna start some companies here and open up some businesses, and she's a part of that over there. So we on track. I have some of my team here that's a part of all of that. My business partner, Ois, is with me. And so we're here to do business. We're here to create jobs, to train young people, to bring an ecosystem here, to help bring jobs and money, revenue.
The American comedian also emphasized that the future of Africa lies in the hands of its youth, making it crucial to give priority to their development and mentorship early.
You have to focus on you young people, because young people are the future. I'm not your future. I'm gonna be out of here in a little while, But I know how important it is to leave something for young people to do. Young people are creative, man. Young people know how to get it done. Young people got all the new ideas. I'm still learning how to work my iPhone. But young people already know this. But I live by a mantra, listen, a society becomes great when old men plant trees under which the shade they know they'll never sit. So I'm just gonna plant some trees in Rwanda, and by the time they full grown 50 years from now, I probably won't sit under the shade of that tree. But y'all gonna remember Steve Harvey stuck them trees in the ground. And that's gonna help make the society great. So that's my contribution.
Steve Harvey began his comedy career in the 1980s. Today he hosts shows such as Steve on Watch and Judge Steve Harvey. Graduates of technical and vocational education programs, or TVET as it usually is referred to, say the courses are an effective solution to unemployment and a means to create new job opportunities. Notably, some individuals who initially pursued conventional university degrees have later opted for short-term vocational training programs to enhance their employability. Every year, universities, higher education institutions, and secondary schools offering technical and vocational education graduate students who enter the job market. Many of these students, including those in short-term courses, report securing jobs even before completing their studies, while others finish their programs with a clear career direction, often venturing into entrepreneurship. Teachers and non-governmental organizations emphasize that technical and vocational education plays a crucial role in accelerating the country's development and in reducing unemployment.
Mostly for those youth with component vulnerabilities from those families that I said with different programs. But so what we do is just to give them basic skills so that they can do something that can generate income or money. The money that can support them to solve their own problems and also to solve the problems of their families. As you know, we have teen mothers, and those teen mothers have their children, and those children also suffer from different violence in their community. So if these girls are able to generate money, it means that they will also raise their children, and then the rights for children also will be respected. Those who don't have the supporters, don't have like startup toolkits. That's a challenge. The other challenge is that really the TVET is very expensive, and the demand is higher than the offer that we give. So we provide less than we are requested. But we are organizing how to collaborate with different institutions, government institutions, to see how everyone who should want to access this education.
In a recent press briefing, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente highlighted that the Rwandan government is committed to promoting technical and vocational education. He noted that even university graduates from other disciplines are now increasingly seeking short-term vocational training to gain practical skills. As part of the country's national strategy for transformation, the number of technical and vocational schools has increased significantly from 200 to 392 of the country's 416 sectors. The plan aims to establish a vocational school in each of the country's sectors. Now, Rwanda has set a target to increase the contribution of technology to 10% of the country's GDP within the next decade, up from the current rate of 3%. This goal is expected to be achieved by attracting more investments in the ICT sector. Martin Mbonu, the CEO of Comms Africa, has highlighted that since the company began operations in Rwanda 14 years ago, they have been offering payment, purchase, and credit services and have since expanded to 11 countries across the continent.
Comza, it's among the first technology companies in Rwanda that has gone and exported. We are present in 11 countries doing business. They all pay, and we bring in that money and pay taxes in Rwanda. The objective is to extend this to 25 countries. We're building a robust platform that will aid lending and also payments across Africa.
By 2029, the value of ICT products for domestic use and export is projected to double, reaching $7.3 billion. Alex Nhare, the CEO of the country's private sector federation, ICT Chamber, explains how ICT can significantly contribute to Rwanda's foreign exchange earnings.
One is through direct sales. So you sell a product in a market where they're paying you foreign exchange. That money comes to Rwanda. The second is where we have companies that are operating in Rwanda, building solutions for foreign operators, foreign clients that are sitting somewhere in Japan, in Germany, in Europe, in North America. And today our young people are leveraging some of these platforms, freelancer platforms, where they're able to earn this foreign exchange and bring in that currency that we so badly need. So that's a big opportunity.
Esther Hunda, the Director General in the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, advises tech investors to focus on solutions that address existing market challenges.
We have 13 million Rwandans. If you're developing for the people who have smartphones, you're going to develop for 1 million, 2 million, and I think that's very little market for you. So as a company, it's also in your own interest to develop to get to as many Rwandans as possible and actually entice them to buy your product. From government, it's service to everyone. From the private sector is ensuring that you get to everyone who can pay you and access your service.
According to the 2024 Global Startup Ecosystem Index, investments in Rwanda's tech startups surged to $14.2 million in 2023, up from $2.1 million in the previous year. In 2021, startups had attracted $6.9 million compared to $1.3 million in the year before. Now, following the FIA Awards held here in Kigali on Friday, many participants took the opportunity to explore Rwanda's uniqueness, including the Akagera National Park. We have the details with Enola Gladys Venimana.
Linda Budabu is one of them. She explains that this was her first-time chance to embark on such a trip, inspired by hearing so much about Rwanda's attractions. I had never taken such a long trip to explore before, so this was a great opportunity for me to do so. I had also heard many good things about Rwanda. That's why my colleagues and I decided to take a few days off after work to visit some parts of Rwanda and enjoy its attractions, which we do not have in our country. Similarly, Gabriel Dulce shared his excitement about exploring Rwanda's wildlife, which they don't typically see in their home country.
On voulait rester un petit peu plus et on a eu du coup
we wanted to stay here for a few days after work, so we looked for information about places to visit and discovered that Rwanda has parks. We decided to visit one with our colleagues, and we were very excited to be here. We saw animals such as elephants, giraffes, rhinos, and many others, which are not common in our country. We were delighted to have this experience. Tourism remains a key source of foreign revenue for Rwanda, growing by about 25% annually, especially during international events like the FIA Awards events that took place on Friday. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
More than 76,000 residents in the districts of Gicumbi, Burera, Gakenke and Huye have declared a permanent break from poverty thanks to the Advancing Citizen Engagement Program, which had been operating at the settlement level. Locally referred to as Inzira y'Iterambere, or Pathway to Development, the initiative transformed lives since it was launched back in 2021. Local government officials in the targeted districts have commended the project for implementing initiatives driven by the ideas of the residents themselves. The program's success has prompted the rollout of its second phase, as announced by Camelia Lenman, the development officer at Sparks Microgrants, the organization behind the initiative.
We've done this collaboratively over this 3-year period and are proud to share that the impacts have been seen on both community livelihoods, including more than a doubling of household level assets over the period of the project. An increase in savings from households from, I believe, 2,000 Rwandan francs to 15,000 Rwandan francs. There's also been important impacts in terms of how villages work together and how they participate in government programs. Villages are participating in more communal activities. They're part of more government programs. And they are working together to set their vision and their goals, to advocate for themselves, and to collaborate on their own initiatives. I think these are some of the results that we're most proud of.
Approximately $2 million was invested during the first phase of the project to support 18 community-selected development projects across 249 settlements nationwide. Now, the Rwanda Revenue Authority has reported significant improvements in tax collection and compliance through the integration of technology, contributing to the country's achieving a 54% self-financing rate of its national budget. Innovations such as e-tax system for filing and paying taxes and platforms that enable traders to pre-clear goods before they reach customs have streamlined processes for taxpayers.
As a tax administration, and again, our role is to ensure that we collect taxes efficiently, and what we are doing now is to see if we can try to expand the tax base. When it comes to tax rates, that's a side of policy. But when it comes to efficiently making sure that everyone who has to pay is able to pay, and pay what he's supposed to pay. So that requires the approach like we are having our discussions, our colleagues and our stakeholders, to make sure that we bring everyone into the tax net. And also do that efficiently, and that's where automation comes in. So I would say the first approach is to make sure that we maximize as much as possible the potential that we have internally, domestically, making it easy for taxpayers to pay their fair share, and then also do it at a lesser cost. So systems that we are discussing today, when you look at Rwanda Revenue Authority today, we have filing and payment, which is automated. We have the EBM system. That is an approach that we are making sure that everyone is able to raise an invoice and declare whatever he has sold. But we've even gone a step further to make sure that even consumers request invoices and we give them 10% of the VAT. So this is a drive to make sure that even consumers are involved in ensuring that the tax they have paid to this trader has actually hit the coffers of government.
The adoption of technology in taxation is part of a collaborative effort with various stakeholders, including the International Center for Tax and Development, and the Institute has praised Rwanda for its integrated and user-friendly tax initiatives, positioning the country as a model for Africa.
The RRA in particular has been really an example for many other revenue administrations across the continent on using that data to produce rigorous policy analysis and evaluation and inform decision making. With the ICTD, the International Center for Tax and Development, we have been working in Rwanda in partnership with the RRA for 10 years. We have produced several studies in a collaborative way, and that has definitely been a journey towards informed and data-driven decision making, which is definitely the approach that RRA has taken.
The updates were shared as Rwanda concluded a global forum on Friday, which brought together over 100 leaders, experts, and researchers from more than 30 countries. Participants discussed the future of taxation, lessons learned from past experiences, and potential innovations to enhance tax systems globally. Welcome back, and now a look at international news. The economy was one of the biggest issues for voters in this year's U.S. presidential election, and now, as they await Donald Trump's return to power, many Americans say they expect improving the economy will be one of his first priorities. We have the details with VOA.
Donald Trump's campaign focus on the economy carried through to his victory speech.
I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve.
A majority of voters said the economy and jobs were the most important issues in this election, says pollster Ashley Kirzinger.
With so many voters focusing on the economy, AP Vocast finds that the share of voters who say that their household's family finances are falling behind has increased from 4 years ago.
And on the economy, Kirzinger says, more people chose Trump. An overwhelming message from voters heard clearly on the losing side as well. Hakeem Jeffries leads Democrats in the House of Representatives.
They want us to focus on the issues that matter and to come together to solve problems for hard-working American taxpayers, beginning with lowering costs for everyday Americans struggling to live paycheck to paycheck.
In New Mexico, Judy Evans says she chose Trump because prices are too high.
Inflation has certainly affected me. My grocery bill has doubled in the last 2 years. My electricity and that sort of thing has gone up quite a bit.
In North Carolina, Aaron Anderson admires Trump's record on the economy.
Trump, he's going to get it fixed for us. It was running good when he was in here before, and get it back on track again.
Voter Charles Boudreau expects fast action from the new administration.
Or they'll have less regulations. They'll be spending more in their particular areas. People that'll have more money will spend more money in their particular areas. Gas prices will go down.
U.S. consumers may not see such quick change, says finance professor Michael Weber.
At the end of the day, a president in the short run, independent of who is in the White House, has very little grasp on economic policy in the very short run, but also in specifically on grocery prices, the price at the shelf we face in our daily lives.
Trump's economic plans include more oil drilling, lower taxes, and import tariffs, which most economists believe will result in higher prices for American consumers. Scott Stearns, VOA News.
We've come to the end of this edition of the news, but before we go, let us once again take a look at the headlines. The government of Rwanda has confirmed the postponement of the Rwanda summit. 957 public servants have graduated from Rwanda's inaugural National Induction Program. And as we just saw, Americans say they expect improving the U.S. economy to be one of Donald Trump's first priorities after he returns to the White House. As always, it has been a pleasure that you've been able to join us. I hope you have a great week ahead of you, and I will be seeing you soon. Goodbye.